What is up, everyone? Mark here. Just wanted to give a quick apology for both the lateness of this episode coming out this week and the sort of choppy nature of the editing on this week's episode. With Mason out of town, I volunteered to edit the episode, and you can kind of see how that went. So please bear with me. The content is really good, and we had a great time talking. You just have to listen to, like I said, a little choppier here and there. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the show.
3, 2, 1.
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Hello and welcome in to episode 26 of the Program Guys podcast. I am not Mason Prince. We are missing Mason and Patrick this week. They are unfortunately traveling the world and could not grace us with their presence. In their place, we have consummate program guy and Twitch streamer Scuba Dooba Doo, Ryan Hile. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Pod. Welcome to the pod, baby. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I'm sad Mason and Patrick could not be here, especially after Patrick's crack about playing the outfield. But I'm going to do my best to keep up with you guys. Y'all are pros at this.
Hey, we're honored to have you. Ryan, Matt, how are we feeling today?
We're feeling pretty good. It is hot as hell outside, but other than that, feeling good.
It's hot in my house.
Yeah, it's going to be hot as hell. It's going to be hot as hell in here in a little bit too, if you know what I mean, Mark. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love it.
Jesus Christ.
Bring it, baby. We can't start with that, though, because the biggest news in professional Oklahoma quarterback history has taken place. Baker Mayfield has been traded to the Carolina Panthers for a conditional 4th or 5th round pick, where, according to Browns reporter Mike Garofalo, he will compete for the starting job with Sam Darnold. Super interesting. We've got Baker Mayfield, who went 1 that year, Sam Darnold, who went 3 that year. What do we think about the deal?
I mean, they got him for what, a 5th round. And I read somewhere that if he plays more than 70% of the snaps, they get a 4th round from the Browns. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but I think that's a steal.
Yeah, you would think that if it's up to a 4th round pick, so he plays 70% of the snaps, he's probably earned you that 4th round pick, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Gann? Oh, sorry, mine.
No, you're good. Gann, go for it.
I was just going to say, thank goodness. Guys, this has been an absolute dumpster fire since the Browns decided to trade for Deshaun Watson, give him that really skimpy contract where he's only making $1 million this year. Now he's guaranteed $230. I mean, what a dumpster fire the Browns organization has been. And what Baker Mayfield has done for them, thank God he's out of there. Now, is Carolina that much better of a situation? Definitely better than the Browns. And I definitely think he'll eventually win the starting job. They have a good offensive line. They have Christian McCaffrey, so he's good with running backs. He's had Kareem Hunt. He's had the other guy with him. So I think it's going to be a pretty good duo. I'm excited for him. He needs a fresh start. Happy for Baker overall.
He's going to have DJ Moore, too, on the outside. That's going to be huge for him. Hile, what you got?
No, it's about time. I mean, as Matt said, this is a fresh start. And we all know Baker with the chip on his shoulder is dangerous. I do like the Panthers. Mark, you could probably speak more to that division than I could, but I don't hate that situation whatsoever. I like it a little bit better than Seattle. That's just my opinion. But man, I'm just excited for him, and I want to see what he can do because, man, Baker with the chip on his shoulder, y'all know firsthand the dude balls. So this is gonna be really fun to see.
I do like how they said that like all of this resides on him passing a physical. So like pray to the gods that he can pass a physical.
Oh my God.
That shoulder. Yeah, that's
shoulder.
That's
but
pretty standard, though.
Yeah, but that's shoulder from last year.
Wonder if they're just like,
through it.
hey, Baker, work out a little bit and let's give you another physical in 2 months. Like get your shoulder more right.
Like, we're gonna send you back to Cleveland. Sorry.
Oh, I mean, if there was ever going to be another turn, that would be it, right?
Yeah.
Give me the 30 for 30 immediately if that happens.
What did y'all think of the Ben McAdoo quote that went around today? His new offensive coordinator, where he goes, and this is the quote: "I didn't think he was a great athlete. This guy is kind of like a pocket quarterback that is short and with small hands. That's what I worry about." He's not wrong about those things, but kind of dismissive of your new guy.
I mean, but it's like he's right now, he doesn't have the starting gig. I'm sure McAdoo's going to go in there and be like, look, prove me wrong and win the starting gig out from Arnold. And then we'll go and go from there. So, I mean, I think it's just going to kind of light a fire under him again. Like that's what he's good at. That's what he does.
That's what he does for sure.
There's a lot of people walking comments back. Do you see Robbie Anderson walking comments back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That
His is the worst.
So bad.
For Hile, explain it for anyone who doesn't know.
Oh yeah. So just I think it was back towards the first few rumors of it. Man, Robbie Anderson came out and said no to the idea of Baker Mayfield joining the Panthers. And today he tried to clarify that, saying he was a team guy trying to kind of back Sam Darnold a little bit. And it's a better excuse than what McAdoo is going to come up with, but not the best look now that Baker is pending physical.
Pending physical.
Yeah, pending physical. But I'm sure Baker's going to it's going to eat at him a little bit, but that's your main weapon? Question mark?
I mean, one of them. I think this is all just we're going to see how it plays out. It's social media buzz, and I think we'll just see.
Is McAdoo the offensive coordinator?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Is Matt Rule not running the offense? So I guess it's now been McAdoo. He's from the Giants, right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
he was the Giants during the really successful Daniel Jones years.
Yeah, so he's got a lot to say because he's so used to Daniel Jones. But look, Baker's a proven quarterback. We all knew this coming out of college that he was small. He had small hands. That's why they picked Darnold, because he's a bigger guy. He's got big hands. Listen, it's all going to work out. This is what Baker does. Super excited for him. I'm just ready to hit him get the starting gig and show everybody wrong. So
the offense. Sorry, go ahead, Rad.
No, I was just gonna ask Mark how he feels about this because the Falcons. So Hile, finish your thought.
No, I was just gonna ask, the offense still runs through McCaffrey, right? I know Baker can do a little bit more than Sam Darnold, but this team's still gonna go with McCaffrey.
absolutely.
Yeah. I think the best version of the offense is probably running a lot of play action, and obviously you're building it off of McCaffrey there, but then you're getting DJ Moore involved with crossers. And you're doing stuff where you're building pass plays more off the run than just running the football. That would be where your shots are coming from. So Ryan, to answer your question, as a Falcons fan, so we always lose the division to teams named or quarterbacks named Breeze or Brady anyway. So it doesn't totally matter. The thing is, I have to root against Baker now. And it's really weird for me. I can't not, I can't not. And it made me think today we kind of owe all of current OU football to how good Baker Mayfield turned out being. Because if he's not Baker Mayfield that first year, Lincoln Riley's offense does not work the way it's supposed to. Because Trevor Knight was the alternative. And who knows who's coming to OU via transfer portal if Trevor Knight's the only one seen operating that offense. So there's just a lot of dominoes that fell the right kind of way because Baker was the guy. And it's not going to be a lot of fun rooting against him, but I'm going to do it. Go Falcons.
Can't wait till he throws the first touchdown against the Falcons and you're yelling expletives, and you've never yelled against Baker Mayfield unless it was for Baker Mayfield before.
I'm not sure he'll be throwing touchdowns against the Falcons, actually.
Oh gosh. Well, guys, we haven't even mentioned either though. First week, Browns at Panthers. I mean, come on, what
So
more
great.
of a full circle moment? If Baker wins the starting job, he is absolutely going off for like 4 tutties and 500 yards. I hope he wins the starting gig just for the sole purposes of week 1. What a great full circle moment for him.
Man, that's a tough one. I mean, I hope they win the game because it's the Browns, but like,
But you don't want them.
but I don't. It's
Who's that
tough.
You can be
quarterback?
honest.
Who's that
Jacoby
quarterback?
Brissett.
That's right.
Yeah. Who is as good as you can do for, your backup quarterback filling in.
Uh-huh.
He probably signed, and when he signed, they told him, hey, you might be starting this whole year. You might play the whole year. We're not keeping Baker. That bridge is burned.
Ooh, what a mess up in Cleveland.
What a mess up in Cleveland. Shout out to Patrick getting all those draft picks and not even knowing to care about them. Moving on, we have a fun little segment that we have cooked up.
We're already doing this.
We are calling this the program battle, and we're hoping this is replicable. We're hoping this is something we can repeat over time with fun little issues we get into. And the first one that we're going to do here is whose rebuild is going better? The Houston Rockets, who will be argued for by me, or the Oklahoma City Thunder, who will be argued for by Matt Gann, who considers them his second team. We will be moderated by Hile and Ryan. I'm just going to call y'all that the entire show because that's easier for us.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
I just hope somebody brought the gloves because this is going to be interesting.
Well, hey, I figure I'm talking too much already. So y'all are going to moderate this thing. And I would love if Matt could start us off.
Yeah. So I'm just going to jump in here real quick.
Yeah.
We got some rules.
Oh,
And, like Mark said, we hope to repeat this with other fun things throughout, various other podcasts. But we're going to give each, what do we want to call you guys? Like arguers, like
battlers,
debaters,
because it's a program battle.
Battlers. We're going to give each battler 1 minute to defend their choice or their side. After that, after each person has a minute, we will then pass back to the first person who has a 30-second rebuttal against the other battler. The battler name is like.
Let's just say Gann for this one, for this battle. Yeah.
So each person will get a 30-second rebuttal. And then there is a 30-second closing. I will time that. Mark, did you add this in here? Is there a 30-second closing for what?
Oh, just like you get a closing statement.
Okay. All right. So each person gets 30 seconds for a closing statement.
Right.
After their rebuttal. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Hile and I will decide who the winner is at the end. I have a timer ready to go. And I also have an app on my phone that plays an air horn noise. So that will be played if you guys run out of time and you have to immediately stop. Like, I don't care if you're like mid-word. I don't care if you're mid-sentence. You have to immediately stop. Okay.
Don't we get to finish that sentence and then that's it? No, we have to.
You have to stop.
No.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to watch Mark because Mark's the one I'm worried about here. So
I will hold down the air horn so no one can hear what you're saying anyway.
Okay. That's fair.
Got it.
That's fair.
Okay. All right. So Gann's gonna go first. Is that what we've decided?
That's what we decided.
Or should we flip
first always goes best, baby? You know what I'm saying?
That first always goes best. That's how they say it.
All right, Gann. Are you ready? Are you ready to go if I give you a countdown?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I got the shirt on. I'm ready to go, baby.
All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Guys, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let me tell you, and give some context. We're looking at the next 5 years. Is that what we agreed on, Mark? The next 5 years of rebuild?
Did we say 5? I thought we said
5
3,
years.
but we can go 5.
Okay.
3
this
to 5 is eating years, into your time, Gann.
Doesn't matter. To give context, the Thunder already have a proven all-star and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He is the focal point of the team moving forward 3-5 years. It doesn't matter. He's going to be the face of Oklahoma City. He already is. To build around him, what Presti has done with all the war draft picks, I think they've done a spectacular job this year of getting Chet, Jalen Williams, and Dieng. I think that will better fit what the Thunder is building towards, which is building around Shea. They've already got Josh Giddey, who's 19 years old. He's going to be the facilitator. That should take a lot of pressure off Shea moving forward so he doesn't have to be the guy. The young core the Thunder has.
That's time.
Time, Gann.
Is going to eat you guys alive.
Well, that was an extra word at the end there. I thought we agreed not to.
That was like an extra sentence.
Yeah.
How'd that
It was
feel,
kind of
Gann?
long. That extra sentence.
How'd that feel?
A minute is
Was that-
very
was that-
fast.
was that a little bit,
but that's
a
okay.
little
Go ahead,
tighter
Mark.
than you thought it
You're
was?
up.
Okay. All right. Mark, you ready to go?
Sure, let's get it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Look, I think there are a couple different things that you have to look at when we do something like this. One is who's at the helm and how have we gotten here with that person, right? Sam Presti did great when he drafted 3 guys back to back to back that be obvious first ballot Hall of Famers. Since then, name me 3 dudes that you like that he's drafted. The Rockets, on the other hand, since Raphael Stone took over less than 2 years ago, have turned James Harden into a bunch of picks that haven't even conveyed yet, and Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, and Jabari Smith. That is, so between Jalen Green and Jabari Smith, 2 obvious, no doubt, build around them guys. These are franchise cornerstone guys. The Thunder have Chet, who is a lottery ticket. The Rockets also have Alperen Sengun, a center who can create for himself, is only 20 years old, has some of the best offensive footwork and playmaking in the league. Kevin Porter Jr., who is a willing and capable creator as well as shooter.
That's time.
Yeah, minutes
All
really
right,
short.
guys.
It just kind of sneaks up on you. You know what I mean?
That
It
was
just kind of.
quick.
I love it. That was fun. I just had
Yeah.
to keep going, baby.
It's
So now
hey,
it's
a
a
minute
30
is hard to
second
know.
rebuttal.
Yeah, you have a
Right.
30-second rebuttal. Okay. All right. So Gann, you are going to go. Are you ready? Or do you
Yeah,
need
that's what
some
a-
do you need
that's
some
a-
time?
No,
You need
that's
some
what a
time?
rebuttal is. I just gotta go.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, no, I listen, the Thunder and Rockets are in a very similar situation. I mentioned this last pod 2 years ago, back in 2019, the Thunder and Rockets were both the 4th and 5th seed. The last 2 years, they've been the bottom 2 teams in the West. The West is stacked. It's going to be that way. I think building around a proven all-star in SGA with the war picks that Sam Presti has accumulated from getting rid of Russell Westbrook, Paul George, that just takes time. A rebuild takes time. The Thunder are way better off now.
30 seconds. Gann does not.
It just,
look
yeah,
excited.
I'm trying to follow the rules. You know what I mean? I just have so much to say.
This is a blast for us.
I'm so
just on the
excited for my turn.
outside.
I can
Okay.
just see the steam escaping both
I
of them
know.
right now.
I know. They're just so fired up. Okay. All right. Mark, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, Gann, don't answer this. What year did Shea Gilgeous-Alexander make the All-Star team? Oh, it hasn't happened yet. The best he's done is 2018-19 all rookie. He doesn't even play games anymore. He played 56 games last year. And your all-star rookie that you think is a proven guy you can build around, Josh Giddey, he played 54 games last year. Your team tanks games on purpose and it builds a bad culture on purpose in order to get these high picks. And it doesn't develop guys at all. It hasn't happened with any of them.
30 seconds.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
why the Thunder had a better.
Hey,
I get a closing.
You
My
get a
turn to
closing.
close.
We
You get a
haven't
closing,
started
but
yet.
hold on.
We haven't started yet. Hold
Why do I
on
have
one
to-
second,
Isn't
Gann.
the battle
Hold
just kind of like back
on.
and forth? We have
Hold
to have
on.
like
Hold
a,
on. You got to have a timer on these things. We
Just
are
started when I start
moderators.
talking.
First
man, we
warning,
got- we
Don't
got-
talk to the moderator like that.
yeah, we
First
gotta-
warning,
we're gonna have to
5-second
fix
penalty.
this.
I
It's
get
the
5 more
first
seconds.
warning.
We're gonna have to fix this.
Gann's upset.
It's just we're not doing it right. We need to like response as we go, and you
No.
just do the time in the
No,
background.
that is not the rules that we established and agreed
It's
upon.
okay.
So
Well, look, maybe we do need to fix it, Matt, but this is what we're doing right now. All right.
okay, you have
Good
30
effort.
seconds to close, Gann. 3, 2, 1, go.
even though every team in the NBA at some point has tanked, you act like the Rockets have never tanked before. The Thunder still had a better record than the Rockets last year, even with what you're saying with Jalen Green. So listen, is SGA, has he made an official all-star? No, but he puts up the numbers that is an all-star. He's going to be a future all-star in some point. The West is stacked. It's hard to do, but the Thunder are way better off, have way more talent of their young core. No doubt about it. They'll make the playoffs way before the Rockets do.
29 seconds. Nice.
I counted in my head.
Wow. You didn't even need an air horn that time. Didn't even need an air horn. Proud of you. Okay, Mark, you ready? 3,
Give it to me, baby.
2, 1, go.
Look, I don't need to get emotional and hysterical to try and make my point. You're right, Matt. The Thunder have a ton of picks, and one day after Sam Presti's done playing soccer with the can, he is going to turn those picks into something. Meanwhile, the Rockets already have 2 somethings. Like college football, the NBA is dominant players playing dominantly, and we have 2 future dominant players. You have 1 lottery ticket. I will take the Rockets every time.
All right.
Bang.
We are done. Closing arguments are done. The first program battle is complete.
Has concluded.
And we already are mad at each other. So that's a good start.
So excited.
Round of applause to both battlers.
This was amazing, guys. This was so good. We had so much fun with this, or at least I think me and Hile did. I don't know about y'all, but
I loved it.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if Gann froze or if he's just that mad and staring at the screen during the rebuttal.
I'm just staring right into Mark's freaking soul as he talks.
Keep looking, baby.
Okay, so this is the time where the moderators choose who won. So, Hile, I will let you go first.
So here's kind of my thing. I felt like Mark poked holes in Matt's argument a lot more. You're really gonna make me choose? Like, how am I ever gonna be invited back?
So I thought we were gonna assign scores and then add up y'all's scores.
Okay, let's do that.
It's the highest one that way.
Let's do that. What are we doing out of 5?
Yes.
Okay, let's do out of 5. All right, Hile. What do you give? What do you give Mark out of 5?
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give him a 4.
All right.
I'm gonna give him a 4. I could use a little bit more fact, not so much point and daggers, but I mean those were heavy hands. Those heavy hands.
Strong point.
What about Gann?
Gann, I'm gonna give him a solid 3. I'm sorry.
3.
Sorry, Matt.
3. What's your reasoning?
It really felt like it was a little more defensive, and the misquote on the All-Star thing kind of hurt a little bit. But that's okay. You know, these things happen.
No, I said it for a reason. I said it for a reason.
Supportive.
Sometimes you lie to try and get your point across. Sometimes you got to make things up.
I'm trying to be as 50-50 as possible. I really am.
We've asked a lot of Hile to just come in here first time, just be like, hey.
Yeah, maybe
choose.
Ryan, you should have gone first on the scoring.
Let the record show that Hile is also from Houston, so maybe a little biasness. Just saying for the viewers. Just want to say.
Okay, well, I'm from Oklahoma City. So.
Separate bias.
Well, I'm excited to see this biasness or this biasness.
Biasness.
I love it.
All right, guys. So I think Hile makes some good points here. Like I think Mark probably had a stronger argument. I'm going to say this. Mark had a stronger argument, but he came in really, really, really hot and maybe a little too hot. And I think that one thing that I will give credit to Gann, other than the All-Star mess up, is that last closing argument or that last closing statement. You finished in under 30 seconds and you knew exactly what you were going to say. And you ended it before I even blew the air horn because you knew what your argument was. So I'm going to give you guys both 3s. I'm going to give you guys both 3s. And
Wait a minute. You're making me
Bang. Bang.
I see the good pieces of both sides. Okay. I do. I see the good pieces of both sides. And this was hard to put you guys in at the first one. It'll probably be like me and Mason next or something like that. And we'll have to do it. But I'm proud of both of you. You guys rock. I'm giving you threes, which unfortunately Gann means Mark is the winner.
Bang. My record improves
doesn't
to
matter.
1-0.
The Thunder will prove themselves over the next 2 years. It doesn't
I'm
matter to me.
so excited to see that happen.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Luke Dort to just lock up Jalen Green every time they play.
Yeah, on his almost $20 million contract.
All
Moving
right. We're
on.
done. We're done with that. Thank
Moving
you, everybody. First
on.
battle.
You see the
First battle
NBA
done.
salary goes up every year, so 20 million is going to be nothing in 3 years.
Gann.
No doubt,
You
man.
had
Just
2 minutes. You had 2 minutes. Let's move on.
I less than that. But yeah.
Moving on to OU's maybe favorite son. I think I'd go Buddy personally, but much more fanfare with Trey. Do we think the Hawks, after their DeJounte Murray trade last week, have a team that can actually get over the hump and compete deep in the playoffs next year? I have an idea on this one, but I want to hear from you guys first.
I don't think so.
So
I
what
don't
do you
know.
think?
I don't know if I have much to back this up other than like DeJounte Murray's coming from the Spurs, who are my team. And I think DeJounte Murray's really, really great. But I also think him and Trey together, what worries me is like possession time. And Murray historically has been like decent with assists, but not like, I don't think he's one to just like give Trey the ball all the time. Like they're
Right.
both going to want ball time. And we saw this happen with, I think, Westbrook and James Harden in Houston. And I feel like it's just
And
got
Chris
some
Paul and James
similar.
Harden in Houston, and
yeah.
Dwight Howard and James Harden in Houston.
Yeah, I feel like it's got some similar vibes to that. So I actually really love the trade from a San Antonio perspective because I think we got some good picks out of it. But I don't know about Atlanta's future. I love them both, though. I love both those players.
What do you think?
I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but if reports are correct, the East is about to get easier, isn't it? I'm not going to rule it out. If KD really does leave, and Kyrie, I don't know where he's going. I feel like I'm going to wait and see, but like the path looks like it could be easier, so I'm not going to count them out. I'll say that.
Yeah, especially if those guys actually do end up in the West, right? Like you can see Kyrie ending up in LA. That's kind of the only place where reportedly he could end up. And KD's just going to go wherever the best deal is. I heard that Toronto was highly involved now, and that's just up the street. So, we'll see with that one. Matt, what do you think?
I mean,
What
the
about
Hawks made the Eastern Conference, 2 years ago, right? So they have the capability to do it. I don't know if Murray puts them over the hump. The Bucks are going to be pretty good. The Celtics got Brogdon. So I think Brogdon actually pushes the Celtics over the hump, even though they made the finals. I think that gives them an actual, because their thing has always been they haven't had a true point guard. I think Brogdon gives them that. They still have that depth. So I know Mason's not here. I'm actually backing Mason up. I think Celtics have made the best trade. I think the Hawks gave up too much, but like Hile said, the East is going to be way easier than the West. So it's kind of a crapshoot who could come out of the West. So.
Okay, so my thing real fast is there have always been these John Collins trade rumors floating around, and the Suns have a center in DeAndre Ayton who they don't really want anymore. I would be interested to get into the trade machine see if you can turn John Collins and Clint Capella into DeAndre Ayton on a max contract, and see where you can go there to bring in another guy, because I have trouble convincing myself that Trey, Murray, and the other guys on the team right now are, favorites to end up in the finals or the conference finals, right? Like crazier things have happened. They did it a couple years ago with a team that looks worse than this one, but you just never know. Maybe there's another shoe to drop.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right.
Moving on, we're not going to hit KD anymore. We're not going to hit Kyrie anymore. We've done enough there. We're moving on to college football. UCLA and USC moving to the Big Ten. I cannot believe we haven't talked about this on an episode yet.
It just
What
happened.
did we think? I know, but like it
It's
feels
crazy.
like the world turned upside down overnight.
I know.
What do we think?
This is astounding to me. Like I'm not really surprised that it happened. I like when it came out, I was a little surprised it was like the Big Ten, but also at the same time, like these super conferences were gonna come together. I mean, the second OU and Texas decided to go to the SEC, the Big Ten was planning something, and they should have been planning something. I think this is a really smart move by the Big Ten, grabbing USC and UCLA. The thing that blows my mind is that Mr. Tebow, Lincoln Riley, left OU to avoid the SEC, goes to USC and is like, I'm going to dominate the Pac-12. Isn't told, apparently, allegedly, according to reports, that they're going to the Big Ten, and then has to be like, yeah, this is super great for our school. I'm really excited about this. And I just can't wait until we see Dallas Cowboys head coach Lincoln Riley in like 2 years so he can get out before they move to the Big Ten.
That's so sure of it. I'm so sure of that happening.
Yeah, I mean,
Gann.
Yeah, I was just going to say, once OU Texas left, you knew this was going to happen. They were the one domino to fall. They're the ones that started it. So you're going to see more teams join, whether it's like Oregon, Washington. What about Clemson and Florida State? So at some point, it's probably just going to be 2 mega conferences, which is ultimately going to lead to they're going to have to expand the playoffs, because if there's 2 big conferences, there's probably going to be at least 4 or 5 teams from those 2 ones, or those 2 mega conferences that are going to have teams that can compete. So this only shows that it's going to expand the playoff. It's all about the money at the end of the day. They're going to take the programs they want. And I think this is ultimately better for college football. We're going to see the matchups we want to see. No one wants to watch, no offense, like Colorado and Arizona State play on like a random Thursday night. You want to see these big matchups where you get USC and Ohio State, and sucks for them. They're going to have to travel all the way to the East Coast. So Lincoln Riley's in for it. Full circle karma moment for them. But at the end of the day, college football is all about money. So that's what you're going to continue to see, is all these big schools join up in 1 or 2 mega conferences.
I'm so excited for the first time. So two things, right? I'm so excited for the first time USC has to fly to Rutgers,
Jersey.
And like, you're in Rutgers. That's not going to be a night game. That's an early game. That's a noon game, and you don't get special privileges. Maybe you do get special privileges, but I don't know if you're USC. But I am so excited for that. I'm going to watch every minute of it. And I'm also excited for when USC lines up on defense against like 3 tight ends and 2 backs at Michigan State. And the defense is looking around at each other because every one of them weighs 175 pounds and they don't know how to take what's coming their way. I'm so excited for those things. I don't know if I agree that this is good for college football, but I do agree that it's exactly where we were headed with this. I think it's fun to have sort of a regional flair. It's just that the regional flair out west has not produced anything worth playoff contention outside of, Washington did once, and I think Oregon has made it a couple times.
Yep.
But overall, you can see the teams that got picked, they're really just large brands. Oregon and Washington are the only ones who have made the playoff, and they're not even along for the ride. So I don't know. I think you can make a strong argument that by weakening the conference that those teams are in, you're hurting things overall, and the ACC is next, and who knows. But
just saying, like, one thing on here is like the Pac-12 and the ACC, man, what like a whiff from them. I mean, just like
this alliance thing.
Yeah, the alliance thing that came out today, which is not even in the outline because there's been so much news the past 2 days that we don't have enough time to cover everything. But the Pac-12 and the ACC like stopped expansion talks on the playoff. Basically decided that like, no, we don't want to expand the playoff. We want to keep it the way it is. I mean, they could have gone and said like, we want conference champions to get in, and they could have kept that conversation going, but they were two of the conferences that were definitely like not wanting to do it. And now, because they didn't, they're not going to really exist anymore. They're just going to like fall apart. Like the Pac-12 could be gone this time next week, which blows my mind. Like if some of the reports are true about some of the other teams leaving, like that's crazy. And if the ACC doesn't think they're next, I mean, Clemson and Florida State, it's about all they got. North Carolina, those three, I mean, people are going to be coming for them.
ACC is looking around like, do you want to be on my team? Do you want to be on my team? Yeah. No one's there right now. I'd be very nervous if I was them, because I think the writing's on the wall. Clemson, Florida State, SEC could be calling, and I feel like they will be. The thing that I'm not going to get over is the Big Ten is the sea to shining sea at this point. Okay. I don't understand how they're going to, that's going to be really interesting. But hey, Lincoln, buddy, you thought Iowa State was cold. Have fun in Ann Arbor, bud. That's going to be a fun time.
At 9 a.m. Pacific time. Have fun.
Hey, T-Bow versus the Dockers Pants. I'm here for it. I'll actually watch a Michigan game now.
Can you imagine watching Lincoln Riley team playing in like the kind of snow that those Big Ten teams have late in the year? That's going to be so much fun. Seeing Caleb in just like frigid air, it's going to be great.
Hey, row the boat, PJ Fleck beating Lincoln Riley. I'm here for it.
Dude, there's a lot of, oh my God, Wisconsin's going to put 9 dudes that weigh 300 pounds on the field.
Okay, so what do we think about, well, you know, there's been a ton of reports coming out that the Big 12 is poaching or trying to poach the Pac-12 at this point. From what I've heard, it's anywhere from, you know, I've heard Colorado, Utah, Arizona State as like 4 of them. And then maybe Oregon, Washington, potentially. Do we think any of that's going to happen?
You got to give him credit for doing something. I mean, it's not Bowlesby. We know that. He's out the door. But they have to do something to stay relevant. Unfortunately, the big fish are already being taken. So I got to give him credit for doing something. But it's not like what they're doing now would have kept OU in Texas.
No.
Like, we were gone off to better pastures no matter what.
No, I think that they are trying to cement themselves as the one that remains, though, between Pac-12, ACC, Big 12. You know, I'm not sure if it's, again, I don't think it's all good for college football, but I do think it's what they have to do is grab the most competent teams they can that make sense regionally. And then, hell, if you can get Oregon and Washington to join up too, you grab them, because why not? We're playing sea to shining sea, like Ryan said, like Hile said. And I think that it's not the worst thing to establish yourself as a West Coast to middle of the country team or conference from a recruiting perspective too. You know, you lose a little bit of your East Coast Florida guys, but that's just the game.
Mm-hmm. But you still got you got UCF. You got UCF in the Big 12 too.
That's true.
So, I mean, you're stretching from Florida to Oregon, Washington, potentially, if you added those 2 teams.
Literally,
it's as far as you can go. It's crazy that this is what it's turning into. But I mean, if Gann is right and this turns into 2 super conferences, in 10 years, the Pac-12, ACC are long gone, and the Big 10 and the SECs just start picking off the Big 12, which could potentially happen. I mean, this turns into NFL, right?
No, I think
AFC, NFC.
Now that I'm thinking about it in my head while we're talking it through, I think it turns into relegation system.
Which
no,
there's no way.
Now we're talking about
that's
it. Right?
European.
No,
that's a European thing.
Because these leagues are going to be able to pick and choose. They're only in deals for as long as they need to be in deals, and then the SEC could say at the end of the day, "Hey, Missouri, you did great. You tried so hard, but Memphis is just better than you at stuff." And that's not shots. That's just, if that's where we are in 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. Big Ten could do the same thing, right? Maybe they don't bring Washington up this time around. They keep them in their back pocket like the NFL and the NBA have done with Las Vegas. it's just, I think that's more likely than realignment being done. And realignment being like not being done is just relegation at this point.
Realignment never stops. Isn't that always like tweeted out?
Someone
Tweets that.
It's a thing.
I love the relegation idea just because I would love to see the panic in Austin when they get relegated.
Now, come on,
Texas ain't getting relegated.
Come on, this is holistic, and we ain't
All about
Texas.
money,
This is why we. This is why
we're
we
not gonna
have
bring
the,
in smaller schools to take over Texas.
This is why.
That's just,
Well, and that's why I'm not saying like small schools, but
you just said Memphis over Missouri.
Memphis has won the NCAA
It
championship.
doesn't matter what
in
they've done. It's
basketball.
about money at
Oh.
the end of the day. That's what I'm saying. It's not
What
about
about- hey,
Memphis
what
has
about-
done. It's
We already did the
what
battle.
can Missouri bring?
we already did the battle.
Yeah, I know. I won that one. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Point Gann.
I just
zero
know that
Hall.
if that does happen, no one's ever going to Nashville again because Vanderbilt will never be able to get back into the thing.
Well, I think they would never get rid of Vanderbilt. They need it. It's like
They
prestige.
need it. I
It's
know.
prestige.
It's the one SEC school that has just like amazing grades and like,
Yes. Yes. It's like no, look, we do care about grades.
Yeah,
They're doing
yeah.
great. At least until they add OU, right, guys?
no.
Speaking of OU, guys,
Matt with the segue. Go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of OU, guys, some big news. I mean, we've talked a lot of news today, but we didn't even talk about OU news.
There's so much.
Look at some of these guys that we've got. Look, the biggest story for OU and what BV has talked about has been, when are we getting recruits? We have like no one in the 2023 recruiting class. It just got a little bit bigger. Who wants to start with some of these guys? And let's start off the guy that just committed today, 4-star Pettyway from Houston, Texas, 6'10", 195 wide receiver. That's a big boy at wide receiver. And he was choosing between
6'10".
us and Texas.
He's 6'10", Gann.
I'm pretty sure when I read it, yeah. I'll double check it right now, but
So I think I'm saying this right. It's Jaquez Pettaway. He is a legit 10.4 in the 100-meter sprinter kind of speed.
sorry.
And he is a 4-star football player. He's like 51 in the country on some composite. I don't know. But big ad. Love to see the receiver room getting bolstered, and really good stuff. Love the speed.
So one thing I did check on, because he does go to Langham Creek High School, which is my rival high school down in Houston. Checked with a buddy of mine. Might be seeing a little bit more OU movement down there. It's hard to go into Langham Creek specifically. It's such an A&M heavy area, but to go in and steal one, I mean,
Big
Langham
one.
Creek is 45 minutes away from College Station. Like, it's close. That's a big move. And I mean, this kid looks good. He's got the frame. You love to see let Schmitty throw some weight on him. You never know what's going to happen. So big get out of Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. In correction, I was being dramatic. He is 6 foot, not 10, 175, but it is a big. We haven't had a big, lanky receiver like that. We have a lot of small guys at wide receivers. Like Mark said, to get some bolster in that room definitely helps out, right?
Oh,
so we
I
love to
think the
see
most
that.
likely thing is he plays in the slot or something.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
But
whatever.
listen, in other news, more defensive guys. We got 2 4-star linebackers that just committed last week, with Samuel coming out of Crandale, Texas, and then Phil Picata. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. If that sounds right, let me know.
You've
2
been
4-star
thinking
linebackers.
Picciati.
Picciani. Well, my Italian's not very great. So if you're listening, Phil, my apologies, but welcome. But
It's a Sooner
BB's
Nation.
defensive side just keeps getting better. What do we think about the 2 4-star linebackers joining the crew?
I mean, it's great. It's wonderful. These were 2 guys last week that I think we were going into last week hoping and praying something was going to happen, because we were going through June and our arch rival was just getting people, like just recruit after recruit after recruit. And like, we're sitting there at like 38 and everyone's just like, be patient, be patient, be patient. And here we go. It's starting, and I don't think it's going to stop through July. I mean, we've already heard some I mean, there's just been some tweets thrown around that's like, this July is about to be crazy for our recruiting, which is awesome. Am I wrong here, or is Phil Picciotti, whatever, however you spell your last name, Phil, is he also a baseball player, or am I dreaming?
I think you're dreaming.
Okay,
Hile?
I must be dreaming.
I don't see any reports on that. I did see though that after he committed, a certain Stacy Gage, 5-star running back from IMG Academy, retweeted it with some sunglasses and some eyes.
Ooh,
So
I like
love
it.
that.
Maybe some more news to come out soon.
These guys have tendrils. I actually watched a little bit of Picciotti, and it's surprising to see a guy his young know how to use leverage and get lower than the guy he's going up against and just drive them to the ground, know exactly how to make hits. So that is an encouraging ad for our group. I didn't watch much Omosico.
Yep, almost.
Not bad.
It's something like that.
But Picciotti looks pretty good to me. Looks like he has good instincts.
Yeah.
Size in that linebacker room just keeps going up. Love it.
He's what, 6'3", 220, something like that.
Yep.
And speaking of another commit, Jackson Arnold at the Elite 11 QB camp, coming out number 1 out of all those guys. You know who wasn't there?
Who?
Arch Manning. You know why? He's scared.
Afraid of competition.
He is. And
Who brought it?
from go
Who
ahead,
brought it up?
guys.
Who brought it up last week? Was it Mason? I brought it up last week. That was like prep school in Louisiana.
Oh
Not
yeah,
the same
that was
thing.
Mason.
And then not going to this.
That was
Interesting choices there. Go ahead, Gann. Sorry for interrupting.
I was just going to say he came out to be the camp MVP. Really impressive stuff from the reports I read, and obviously just seeing the clips that he was throwing. His quote here is, "Levy's offense is almost exactly what we ran at my high school, so I felt like it would be the easiest transition." And even before BV was hired, he was going towards Ohio State and Notre Dame. Once BV was hired and Levy came with them, he already had that relationship with Levy before. And I think that's ultimately what made him decide to come to OU and bring his talents there. And I'm honestly super excited about this guy coming in, and especially with the weapons coming in as well. So good for OU. It's been a good week for them, especially with such a slow recruiting season so far, but it looks like it's only ramping up from here.
Beat a former OU commit, did he not? A certain Southern California quarterback?
Certain Malachi Nelson.
Malachi
Isn't that his name?
Nelson.
Yeah. The number 2. No, he came in at like number 3, didn't he?
Yeah, he
And
he
like the
fell to
top,
3.
the voting. Yeah.
So now that we've talked about the good things with OU football, let's talk about the shade that was thrown today, because I've got heat about it. The 2012 football All-Big 12 preseason teams came out today on July 6th, and the only entrants from OU were Michael Turk on the preseason All-Big 12 first team as a punter. Good for Michael Turk. We love that guy. Go follow him. It's like YT Hang Time or something.
Great
really
YouTube
know.
channel.
Support our guys. Support our guys. And Dylan Gabriel, who I got to be by default, right, was named the Big 12 preseason newcomer of the year. No one else usually comes in with 8,000 yards and 70 touchdowns. So that's money. Here's my problem. Where's Marvin Mims? Where is Braden Willis? I am hurt. I am angry. And I am ready for this OU squad to put it down on them. Anyone else?
This is like absolutely astounding to me. Like it's not, when you like come back and look at the past year and you see like us leaving the SEC and how like butthurt the Big 12 is about this and how they still are. And like Texas got a few more than us. I think they got 1 on the defense, 1 on the offense, or maybe 2 on the offense, but I know 1 on the defense. I mean, they like, and everyone loves Texas. Everyone loves like their recruiting classes, and I think they have the best athletes, and arguably they do. So even they're getting it too. I mean, we see tons of Baylor here. We see tons of Oklahoma State here. Oklahoma State lost like most of their team. Like what is this? Like I don't know if this is the Big 12 just being like, we have no idea what Oklahoma is going to be like this year because this is a brand new coaching staff. They lost a ton of their people. They're bringing in a fresh team. Like that's probably what they're doing. But you know, this is going to fire this team up. And especially when their head coach tweets it and says,
oh yeah,
hey, this is what they think of us, basically. What are we going to tell them? What are we going to show them? And man, I'm so glad they did this today. This is so great.
I didn't take Brent Venables to be football's Taylor Swift, but I'm really kind of into it. He's hurt and I love it. He's coming for people.
Taylor Swift is super successful and has super successful and crazy fans kind of, and like they'll defend. And hey, I love that for BV.
Pretty good stuff. I was excited to see him tweet that. Otherwise, these Big 12 teams are a joke. Matt, you sort of took the lead here, but do you want to continue circling the wagons here?
Yeah, not too much news on the circle the wagons front. As you know, it is a dead zone for pretty much all sports. Not a whole lot going on, and Hile more than happy to jump in if there is something that maybe I am missing. I know we did get a transfer in from Oklahoma State from the baseball team. Davis is coming back home to good old Norman, Oklahoma. Hile, do you have any insight on him? What he does? I think he's a pitcher, right? If I'm not mistaken,
he's a pitcher.
Relief pitcher. Record wasn't too stellar. About a 4.25 ERA this past season for the Cowboys. It's just cool to see what Skip's doing. It's continuing to work, and guys are wanting to come to OU. That's the biggest thing that people need to realize is guys are wanting to come play for Skip Johnson and the Oklahoma Sooners. There's momentum, and I know it's not the biggest splash, but it's not every day somebody leaves Oklahoma State baseball to go to Norman. That doesn't happen. You know, this guy is an OU fan from childhood, yes, but you don't do that very often. You know what I'm saying?
Totally agree. That's it. Of all the places he could have gone, he picked OU.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I know we saw Clay Van Hook leaving OU baseball to become the head coach of the Roadrunners. Was he an assistant coach? Did he have a specific position? Tell me a little bit more, Hile.
Yeah, he was the assistant coach, helped a lot with the defense. Skip's main job is going to be final say, of course, but he let a lot of the assistant coach run things because Skip loves work with pitchers. I mean, that's what he won national championship at Texas doing, working with pitchers. We should expect to see this more. I just am very scared of the day we lose Reggie Willits. When anyone wants to know about what that offense was, it was him wholeheartedly. You saw him at the top of the dugout every single game, you know, telling runners, hey, go, here's his move. Here's how fast he is to the plate, things like that. So Reggie Willits, if we can find a way to keep him, awesome. That's just going to benefit us in the long run.
New York guy, right? The Yankees assistant or was? Is that what you're talking about?
Right. Yeah. He was the first base coach for the New York Yankees
Gotcha.
For a number of years with Aaron Boone.
Gotcha. Well, we have to give a congratulations to Skip Johnson. He did win the ABCA Central Regional Coach of the Year. Obviously well deserved, especially for a team that had very low expectations going into the year. Ends up in the national championship. Bats got cold at the wrong time. The pitching did what they could. But this is a young team. They only had one guy in Tanner Treadway that's going to graduate and leave, and they're going to use the transfer portal like they already have. And they got a lot of talent on that team, especially if Cade ends up staying, if he doesn't go to the MLB draft. This is going to be a good OU team for the foreseeable future. So super excited for them as well. The only other news I had, we have to give another congratulations to former OU basketball coach Lon Kruger, who has made it into the National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame for a dedicated head coaching career for all of the places he was at. Obviously, last run was at OU, but we have to give a big congratulations to him for earning that honor. Good old Lon. came in for a couple of years, but really excited for also OU basketball, men and women's moving forward with Potter Moser and Jenny as well. So that's all I got for Circle the Wagons. Unless, Hile, you had something else on mind.
I'd love to get Hile real fast, just because we have you. Your 30-second take on this year's baseball team.
Dark horses came out of nowhere, young team that caught fire towards the middle of the season. And, no one likes to say it, but I will. Teams can't stay hot for that long. And it's amazing how hot this team was for that long. That's just what you chalk it up to. The ball doesn't always bounce your way. And it's a shame it happened to us at the literal last series of the year. But this team has some serious momentum. And hey, SEC baseball looks strong. I'm not actually as scared anymore. Skip looks like he's got his footing right now, and it's looking good. That momentum's rolling.
Speaking of momentum, I think Ryan's going to talk about something here with a little bit of momentum right now.
Absolutely
Tyson, must watch. Bring it at us.
That was pretty good. That was like Mason level segue right there.
That was all right.
I'm impressed.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Okay. So, sometimes I come at you guys with the indie movies and the indie TV shows that no one's ever heard of and probably no one wants to watch, but that's okay. This much watch this week is something that probably a lot of you have already seen or are actively watching right now. And it's Stranger Things season 4. So Stranger Things season 4 released in 2 parts. The first part released on May 27th. The second part, first part contains 7 episodes. Second part contains 2 episodes, just released on July 1st. So last Friday. I'm sure a lot of people already know what Stranger Things is, but I'm just going to go through my bullet points here. It was created by the Duffer Brothers back in, I believe, 2016 was the first season. It stars Millie Bobby Brown, Winona Ryder, David Harbour, and Joe Carey, who in the outline, someone wrote the shorter, less attractive version of Patrick, which is some unbelievable content. Who wrote that? That's so good.
It was not me.
Okay. It's got to be Gann. Okay, so yeah.
Wait, so it's none of the 4 of us?
My hands are clean to this.
Was it Patrick?
I bet it's Patrick.
From
bet.
Germany. He came in.
Patrick.
He came in, threw the bucket hat on, and wrote a few things in the outline.
So good.
God.
We love you, Pat. And Joe Carey does kind of look like Patrick, so that's not even that weird of a comp there. Plot. So weird supernatural stuff happens in the small town of Hawkins, Indiana, and shenanigans ensue after that. That is pretty much the plot of Stranger Things. It is kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons game in TV show form. That's kind of what it's based on. So a lot of crazy stuff happens, small town Indiana, supernatural stuff, weird stuff. You guys probably know what Stranger Things is. My barrier to entry for season 4 is the episodes are extremely long. Like, this is a lot of content. It's 9 episodes, but most every episode is over an hour. The 7th and 8th episode are over an hour and a half. And then the finale is 2.5 hours, which is movie length, like a long movie. So that's a lot to ask of an audience, I think. And it's really great that Stranger Things has such a core fan base and it is so popular. I'll get to how popular here in a little bit, but that people will actually commit to that. And I think there's some really amazing stuff in this season, but a lot of it, you have to dig in to find it. I mean, it can be covered up by a lot of fluff, which I think another barrier to entry here is there's so many characters and so many plot lines and so many storylines that you have to keep up with, that they spend the first like 3 hours of the season just catching up with everybody to see like what they've been up to, like for the past like couple months, which is hard. Like that's hard. I mean, you have 4 major storylines happening in this season of TV all across the world in different areas. And that is very hard to do as a TV show. And it's very hard to keep your audience engaged through that. I want to hit some high points. Yeah.
Real fast, that's the second highest barrier to my entry since the one that was literally in a different language. And I'm probably going to end up watching this because Cassie's going to want to.
So yeah. I mean, this is in English, so that makes you feel better. High points here for people who have seen seasons 1 through 3 of Stranger Things. This story is still super great. Like the way how I said a barrier to entry was how many plot lines they have, but the way that they are able to keep you engaged while watching, like that is so hard to do. And they're able to do that because they have great performers, they have great stories, they have great writing. And if they just cut a little bit of the extra like fat, it would be almost a perfect television show. Like this has some jaw-dropping highs throughout the entire season. I believe they spent about $30 million on every single episode. That is Game of Thrones level budget. Like not as much as like Lord of the Rings is getting the rest of this year, or the toward the end of this year. But like that is an insane amount of money. That's the highest they've ever spent in Netflix history, I believe, on a TV show. And you know what? I think that money pays off. This show looks great. This show is like fantastic looking. It has some amazing CGI effects, amazing physical costumes, makeup, all of that. It's just is really, really great. And they know exactly what they're doing and they know exactly what story they're telling. It took a 3-year break because of COVID. So season 3 was in 2019, summer of 2019. And this comes in summer of 2022. And a lot of people were like, is it going to have the same like fever that seasons 1 through 3 had because they were so close and the kids were young? And it like absolutely does. It feels like we never left Hawkins. It feels like it's kind of incredible what they were able to pull off, even with a 3-year break. This is the penultimate season. So the Duffer Brothers have came up and said, like, we planned this for 4 to 5 years, 4 to 5 seasons. We're on our 4th season. We have a lot to tell, but we're going to end it with 5. So this sets up the final season, which will be streaming in 2024. So we got a 2-year wait for season 5 after this. But it sets up the final season really great. And it pulls in a lot of plot lines that a lot of questions a lot of people had around this. Fun fact for Stranger Things. So season 4, part 1 shattered streaming records. So they've been tracking streaming records for a little over 2 years now since the pandemic. And I believe it's Nielsen who's tracking them. And they do it by minutes watched.
No, this is all just Netflix because Netflix doesn't share their streaming data with anyone.
No, I think it's Nielsen though. I think this is the Nielsen streaming records or streaming ratings.
Okay.
Like, I think that's what I'm pulling from.
I'm happy to.
And it's we'll get back to you. I'll double check and I'll follow up next week. But according to this rating system, there are Stranger Things season 4, 7 billion minutes watched from May 30th to June 5th. The next closest in that time frame, in a week time frame, was Tiger King and Ozark at a little over 5 billion minutes watched in their first weeks. And that was right when the pandemic started back in March of 2020. So everyone was inside, everyone was watching. So this was 2 billion minutes more. 2 years later, when everyone is outside, everyone's doing stuff. It's like, pandemic doesn't exist anymore right now. Right. So part 2 released July 1st and broke Netflix. So it crashed it. That's how many people were trying to watch it, the same thing. This is the most popular TV show on television right now and the most popular TV show since probably Game of Thrones. And Netflix has one more season of it and they're about to lose their huge ship that makes all their money and brings in all of their viewers. And they just announced today that they're already starting writing a spinoff. So it's coming. It's coming.
So
that's
you kind of hit on what I was going to ask you towards the end there. Is Stranger Things Netflix last great show? because it's not like there's, a ton of monocultural, everyone's watching it, narrative driven shows on Netflix now. They're more segmented to different parts of the population. I feel like, you've got tons of reality TV going, but where's the next thing? And I guess it's just the Stranger Things spinoff right now. What do you think, Ryan?
No, I mean, like, I could have a 45-minute discussion about this, but Gann might kill me because I know we're trying to move this showboat along.
Hey, bonus episode coming soon. Ryan and I discuss the future of Netflix.
I think Netflix is taking a different strategy. I think that they kind of started the premier drama series streaming wise with House of Cards and Orange is the New Black, and they had Stranger Things is the most popular streaming show ever. I mean, it absolutely is, like 100%. So they still have that, and I still think Netflix has quite a few quality shows, but their strategy is changing to like reality TV. That is probably what I would say Netflix is doing the most of right now, and what is taking like the most cultural experience for Netflix, and what people are talking about the most when it comes to Netflix, besides Stranger Things and a couple one-offs here. Like, remember Queen's Gambit, Tiger King, kind of those like flash in the pan things like that. Netflix is rolling into like a completely different category than someone like HBO Max or someone like Amazon or someone like Hulu. And that falls under Disney. So like, we're figuring out like where these streamers are, like what their strategy is for the upcoming years. And Netflix has always been on top. And when they lose Stranger Things, it's gonna be tough for them. So I mean, they're gonna try the best they can with like multiple spinoffs, I'm sure, because people will watch them. I will probably watch them, but like, I don't know where we go from here.
I think it's a great point, actually, because we know that Netflix has taken on a ton of debt to fund all of their shows, and subscriber numbers are dropping, and they're almost leaning into this reality TV or low budget Squid Game style storytelling that sort of concedes we can't keep up with HBO Max, we can't keep up with Amazon, we can't keep up with Apple. The funding is just different. So like I said, bonus episode coming soon. Me and Ryan just talking about this. Let's finish the episode as always with our program guy MVPs of the week. I'm going to start us off with Patrick's choice of the week. He goes with, and I love this, I imagine Hile loves this too, the Houston Astros, the red hot Houston Astros. According to Pat, he sent us 3 bullets. The Astros, the hashtag Astros, set a Major League Baseball record with 48 strikeouts in 3-game series versus the Angels without extra innings. So in 27 innings, they got 48 strikeouts. That's wild stuff. These are the best pitchers best batters in the world that they're going against. Justin Verlander was the first pitcher to win 10 games this season. You love to see that kind of a comeback. And they won 2 games in a row off back-to-back home runs. That's the first time the Astros have done that since 2007. All of that added together, put it in a blender, spit it out. That is Patrick's MVP of the week, the Houston Astros. Ryan Tyson, what you got?
Yeah, so I just went off on a tangent on Stranger Things, but actress Sadie Sink, who plays Max in Stranger Things, she's phenomenal this season. Just so good. Plays like kind of an emotional, very, very, very emotional role in this season in particular, considering what happened in season 3 to her character. I'm not going to spoil anything, but go watch her. She's awesome. She's been in a lot of really cool stuff recently. I'm very excited to see where her career goes.
Love it. Love it. Hile, what you got for us?
Well, I'm going to go straight to what I consider to be the new iconic image of the 4th of July weekend. And it's Joey Jaws Chestnut holding up the mustard belt. Okay. 63 dogs this past week. And I know those below what everybody's expecting him to do. But by the way, he had a torn ligament in his leg. They had to hoist him onto the stage. And by the way, he was interrupted by a protester 13 dogs in. He finished it. 45 dogs later, he finished it. Which, by the way, that move, holding bun in one hand, dogs in the other, saying, protester, come here, get out of my way. I'm eating here. You don't get in between a fat guy and his food. And this guy is the ultimate eater in the world. I consider it a sport. I can't do that. That is an athletic endeavor, in my opinion. We can battle that another day, I suppose. But Joey Jaws Chestnut is as American as fireworks and apple pie on the 4th of July.
Look, if you can guzzle glizzies like that, if your throat is by that measure the GOAT, who am I to tell you you're not playing a sport?
15 titles in 16 years. All right. And frankly, he's not a huge dude. Like, I think we got to give him credit
he's
for that.
not.
No, it's
He's not that
incredible. I'm
big.
surprised you said he had to be hoisted because, even with the torn ligament, he's not big. He's actually lost weight in the past.
Yeah.
Like recently.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
impressive.
he beat the second place guy by 20 hot dogs, which
20.
is obscene. But
Bro,
anyway.
imagine thinking you did great. Imagine like you fasted like you needed to, and you took your time and you prepared and you did great, and you look to your right and Joey Chestnut ate 20 more dogs than you.
It's domination. I think we've only seen like Rafa Nadal in the French Open. Like, that is Joey Chestnut and hot dogs. That
Comes in, does his thing, drops the mic. We'll see you next year.
yeah.
That's it.
Incredible.
What a life.
Gann, who you got? You didn't type it.
Yeah, I didn't need to. You guys all know there is a right answer this week, other than Hiles, which is it's pretty hard to go after Hiles. I mean, what's more patriotic than just a man guzzling some hot dogs on the 4th of July?
Lizzies.
But there is a right answer this week, I think, guys. I think we all know who it is. It's our boy Baker Mayfield for finally getting out of the
That's a good
dumpster
one.
fire.
Yes.
It is the Browns. We've been wanting this for as long as the season ended. What he gave to that city, winning their first playoff berth, and however long, going to the Steelers and beating them, guys. He did everything he could, and they still treated him like absolute trash. Thank God he is out of there. Good luck to the Panthers
Pending
for
physical.
getting Baker Mayfield, getting a fresh start. We'd love to see it. He is my MVP.
Great pick.
And great pick. Maybe the last thing I'll applaud for our guy Baker. So, and I will round us out with the program guy of the week, my guy Ryan Hile. Thank you so much, man, for hopping on the show with us and for giving us your insight. It was invaluable to hear you talk about OU baseball for a bit and just come at it from a perspective that I don't have because I don't know baseball. And a lot of fun to talk to you and hear from you, man. So my MVP of the week, Ryan Hile.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me on. This has been a blast. I'm getting attacked by puppies. And as you were saying that, so this is just the best thing I could ever ask for. Be invited on. Hopefully one day in the future, you'll have me back, maybe for some more baseball stuff. But thanks, guys. It was fun.
We'd love
Appreciate
to.
you coming on, Hile.
Why
Appreciate
don't you where can the listeners find you if they want to, Ryan?
I'm on Twitch. You can find me Scuba Dooba Doo on Twitch. I feature my dogs quite often, so don't be afraid to stop by and look in on some fun. That's kind of it. I have a TikTok account as well if you want to check that out. But thanks for letting me plug, guys.
Yeah, of course. And with that, episode 26 of the Program Guys podcast is going to come to a close. As always, I forgot to say it earlier, but please like and subscribe on all of your platforms of choice. Throw us a 5-star rating if you think that we've earned it. Maybe even if you don't, the algorithm would really love it, and we would really love that. So as long as you guys like us enough to do that, I think that we'll do all right. Ryan, will you take us out?
Which one?
Which one?
Either.
I think it's got to be you. You're the guest.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. All right. Keep pushing it, baby.
There it is. Pat
Love
would be
it.
so
3, 2, 1.
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being